Hey guys, it's Brianna. So I'm sort of like 5 minutes into a meditation, and I kind of got something connected for me that I wanted to share, and wanted to share right away, as opposed to waiting till afterwards. So what I got was I've been kind of beating myself up a little bit today for decisions that I made yesterday, as far as, watching Netflix, and which is great. I love Netflix, especially the show Riverdale. Check it out. And so, anyways, staying up kind of later than looking back I would have liked to, which made it to where I was waking up later. And as Kyle Cease says, this transformational speaker and comedian, I don't know if he'd call himself that, says that waking up late, like later, you already feel like behind. And totally, that's exactly what happened. And I just feel like when that happens, I like dilly-dally through the first part of my day. And I did. And so I'm like looking back, I'm like, what did I do? Like, I'm like, like, I don't really know. And it's like early afternoon, and I'm like, man, I should have already meditated. I should have blah, blah, blah. And instead of using this as an opportunity to beat myself up, I, for whatever reason, had this kind of switch moment in my mind. And it was like, no, what's the alternative? Like, what's the alternative to beating myself up over this? Maybe this is a time to wake myself up. Wake myself up to the fact that I'm not living the way I want to live. Wake myself up to how I feel when I make these choices. And do I want to continue making these choices? Because if I do, this is how I'm going to continue to feel. And to a certain extent, like, opportunities like this are moments to accept yourself where you are. And I think I've done quite enough of that in my life. Accept, like, or maybe not fully accepting, but like trying to accept, like going into meditation and, really trying to accept these aspects of myself, or these aspects of my life, or decisions that I make and things like that, patterns that I get into. But at the same time, I think there's a certain point where we can choose to change that. And we can accept that I have this feeling when these things occur, like when I make decisions like this, based on, when I make decisions of how I eat, how I act, how I respond to something, how I plan my day, how I don't plan my day, different things like that, and how you feel. You accept that has been the way you've chosen, and accepting how you feel about that, and really acknowledging that and saying, wow, I feel like shit when I do these things. And that gives you a lot of power. It gives me a lot of power. It gives a lot of power to choose a different way. And it also gives like room to explore why those changes haven't been made, and like what's really blocking you. So like, I think in my meditation today, I'll probably, if that's what comes up, like I'll check out, what I really want to be doing with my days and with my time, and why I haven't been doing that, and why I have the best of intentions every time that there's a weekend coming up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get so much done, I'm gonna do blah blah blah. But I'm like, I don't need to like plan this thing out, because like it'll just happen. I'll just do it, and like people will like want to do things at the times that are going to be perfect. I'll have all my stuff done and they'll ask to hang out. No. You can't expect the world to revolve around your plans if you haven't actually decided to make those plans and to yeah, I'm caught in like an not, I don't know, like an insight trap where I feel like there's something more to kind of figure out here, but yeah, so I think the world's not going to revolve around your plans if you don't make them, and I have to make the plans and make it important for me. I get to choose how the world interacts with me. So like if someone wants to hang out and I've already said like, no, I'm chunking off this time to work on this creative project, then like it reminds me of I think recently I saw this actually. Tim Ferriss, can't say enough, but he said something like, if you it was in the 4-hour work week, and if you give yourself a time limit, if someone says like to you, you have to get this thing done in 24 hours or else. You are going to scramble all of your resources. You're going to say no to all the people and you're not going to feel bad about it one bit. And you're just going to make the thing happen. You're going to hold the fort down and make this thing happen. So if I said, I'm going to get X, Y, and Z done today, guess what would happen today? That would happen. But if I'm like, you know, that'd be cool if I kind of did that and like set aside some time and focused on that, and no. Then people are going to ask you, hey, can you do this? Can you hang out? Can you do this? Can you push it? Can we do it at this time instead of that time? And you're like, well, I was kind of hoping to do this other thing. This is me, by the way. I was hoping I was going to get to this thing. But, and then it's this tug of war. And then for me, I'm getting into too much drama, but like my own mental drama. But then I take that, it takes more energy for me to try to figure out, am I going to do that thing earlier? Or am I going to like do the thing that I wanted to do? But I hadn't actually solidified any plans with myself. Make plans with yourself. If you were doing it with someone else, like if you were like, okay, you and me, partner, we're going to do this from 10 to 2 on Saturday morning and afternoon, we're going to do this thing together. We're going to button down the hatches. I don't know if that's how you say it, but batten down the hatches? I don't live in Oklahoma or whatever. But we're going to do the thing. We would never say, should I cancel my plans with so-and-so to work on this project? You know, or should I keep my plans with them? You wouldn't do that. So, I would say I wouldn't do that. Most people, maybe some other people out there would not do that. It's more socially, you're socially tied into that a little bit more. So, when we make plans with ourselves to like keep it that seriously and to, you know, to say that we're important enough and the way that we want to spend our time is important enough and the movement that we want to make in our lives is important enough, because really it's so fucking true. Like if you just continue to live your life the way that you're living it, you're not going to see any changes. If you say, I don't like my life exactly the way it is right now, that means that something needs to change. And that something needs to start with you. It's not going to start with other people saying, oh, you know, like, no worries. You know, like, here, I'm not going to keep hounding you about this thing, or I'm not going to ask you to do this or that, or I'm not going to feel bad if, or I don't know, whatever other people in your life want from you, which is not bad. I mean, that's great. But we have to make sure the things that we want to get done in our lives get done. And I think I've been a little bit wishy-washy on that. I've been a little bit like hopeful but not determined. You know what I mean? Like there's a huge difference. Like that's not even very subtle. It's like, so when I think of the quote from Tim Ferriss, it's like, if someone gave you 24 hours to do what you needed to do, you would make that happen. And even if you didn't get all the way, it'd be like an epic movie, you know, of like, you're trying to get, just imagine, oh my gosh, that'd be actually kind of fun. Like, just like write out the story or like think out the story of what it would be like to spend 24 hours completely and totally investing in your dream and investing in what you want. So if you're like, I need to create a website for this, blah, 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 whatever. It's like, oh, I don't know how to make a website, blah, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. If you had 24 hours, you would fucking find something that showed you how to make a website and make the website. And so anyways, I'm thinking it'd just be this epic drama of like the last minute, 1 minute left, and then there's like people chasing you. They're like, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna finish it? If not, like, she's gone, like this Taken type drama movie. And, like on Iron Chef. I mean, we could give so many examples, but Iron Chef, like how they have like this time limit, and it's like, how the frick did they got literally the last freaking like leaf of, I don't know, what do they put on top of it? Mint or something. They put the last basil leaf or mint leaf on at literally, they had 0.3 seconds left, and then they're done. You know what? I mean, if they had 0.3 seconds less, they wouldn't have put that on there. And they wouldn't have finished their plate. Like the time limit, time limits are huge. Gosh, or you think maybe, what if they gave him like 5 more minutes? Maybe he would use that full 5 minutes and everything would still be plated last minute on that 5 minutes, or last second. So I think it is so true. Like when we give ourselves a time limit, a time frame, and say, I am getting this done, and this is important to me. And really how little time certain things take, but we think it takes maybe a lot of time because we're used to thinking something like that takes a lot of time. Or we're used to thinking, oh, well, I'll have to really think about it. I have to really make it kind of perfect. I kind of make it like exactly how I want it. Well, just like there's a certain author, and I think it's Judy Blume. She says, I'm a terrible writer, but I'm an excellent rewriter. And so that's the beauty of editing things. If you give yourself a 24-hour, I'm speaking to myself here. If I give myself a 24-hour deadline on something, it's like, okay, I could totally do it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be really that pretty, but you're putting something on either media or paper or doing something that is going to move you forward in a big way. And so I guess that's what I want to say. Hope that inspires you. It inspired me. So let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And like this video if you like it. And I'll catch you guys later. Love you.